All right, here we go. Let's talk about learning Japanese in 3 months. There's going to be a lot of talk about learning Japanese in 3 months because I'm going to try to. I'm not going to try. I'm going to learn Japanese in 3 months. I talk a lot about learning languages fast, and there's always someone in the comments, a bunch of people in the comments, saying that that's impossible, even if there are lots of people who've done it with a bunch of different languages. And there will always be some sort of excuse. If you learn X language, they'll say that it's too easy, or that you already knew languages. You already knew too many languages that are similar to that, so it's too easy. So your system doesn't work. It doesn't work because you already know to learn too many languages. That's pretty weird logic, but okay. Um, and then they always mention really well non-European languages. Always, for some reason, they never mention Finnish or Hungarian or languages like that that are not related to Romance, or they're not Romance languages. They're not Slavic or Germanic, which are most of the languages I speak are Romance, Slavic, or Germanic. And obviously, although my native language is not Romance, it's not a Romance language, it's not a Slavic language, and it's not a Germanic language. It doesn't really have a family; it's its own thing. But yeah, most of the languages I speak belong to one of those families. Simply because, not because I want to say, oh, I speak more languages, and so I go for the easy ones. Simply because if I'm from Europe and I mostly spend time in Europe, and I travel in Europe, and especially like the Mediterranean and Eastern Europe, I do like Germany as well. Um, it makes sense for me to learn the languages of the places I go to often. Yeah. So if obviously it makes sense for me to learn Portuguese, French, and Italian, not because they're easy, so I can tell you that I speak more languages, but because I go there much more often than I've never been to Japan, honestly. Or I've recently been to Korea. I didn't learn the language. I just didn't have the uh, time or motivation. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble a little bit. Let's go straight to the point. Yes, you absolutely can learn a language in 3 months or less, and I'm going to conduct a 3 month or 12-week experiment in which I will learn Japanese from scratch. This is what I will do. First of all, I'm not going to learn Japanese full time because I've got things to do. I've got business, I've got family and friends, hobbies, things to do, for projects, side projects, other languages I'm learning, uh, not from scratch, I'm just trying to get better at slowly, simply because I enjoy doing that. And also, I always learn several languages at the same time, for a very specific reason. If I'm coaching a bunch of people who are learning different languages and they're all at different levels, I always need to be with at least one language. I need to be at the beginner level, another one at the intermediate level, another one at the advanced C1, C2 level, and still trying to improve. Because otherwise, if the last time I was a beginner or intermediate level was years ago, I can't really relate to my clients. So I need to be learning several languages at the same time. Also, because obviously I'm really into languages. But anyway, I will spend 1 or 2 hours a day with Japanese, no more. But I will still get results, and I'll show you how. So what I'll do is daily updates, not every single day because, well, I've got holidays and things to do, and plans and trips and things like that. So I won't make a video on my Japanese progress every single day, but most of the time I'll try to do it daily. If not a video, if I don't have the time for that, I'll do this a post, and I'll give you specific details on what I'm doing, how many reps, how many words memorized with associations, how many reps of listening and repeating or shadowing, how many sentences reviewed, how many flashcards, everything. Yeah. I'll keep it as a log, a daily log. I'll write it down for the days that I am not making a video, or maybe I'm not learning. Some days I won't even touch Japanese because, yeah, I'll be traveling. I've got one trip coming up to Rioja. If you go to Spain, come to Spain. I say go to Spain because I'm in the Basque country and we don't really. Anyway, let's not talk politics. If you go to if you go to Spain, you should visit Rioja if you're into wine. Really good. Okay. Yeah, daily updates as often as possible. I've got, yeah, a bunch of trips and a bunch of family things, and obviously I won't be uploading videos those days, but the rest of the time I will. And the days that I don't upload videos, if I still do some learning, I'll let you know the next day. Anyway, yeah. So I'll give you exactly the weekly plan I've got and how much I'm uh, actually implementing the plan. Sometimes things happen, or you're busy, or you just don't feel like doing it. It's usually not my case, but for a lot of people, it does happen. So I'll give you the weekly plan, and later on in this video, I'll tell you the plan for the first week, and then how much of it I've been implementing every day, right? And at the end of each week, I'll try to talk on camera. It'll be pretty bad the first time, but I'll be able to say a bunch of stuff badly, but I'll be able to say it. Uh, Second week, I'll still speak badly, but I'll be able to say way more. And third week, I'll speak even more and better, and so on. Uh, and at the end of the whole 12-week, 3 month period, I'll try to have a 1 hour conversation. Well, I'll have a 1 hour conversation. And I probably won't speak perfectly, but I think I'll do pretty well there. So let's talk about specific goals. Let's talk numbers because being fluent is very vague, and or learning the language is very vague and doesn't really. It really depends on the person, right? What do you? That's something you get a lot in those videos. Like becoming fluent in a language. And first, let's spend 10 minutes talking about what fluency is, and let's just quantify what I want to do, and then you can. I'll do all of this 100%. I'll probably do more than this, but you will be able to tell if this amount of work for this amount of language learning work for Japanese. You'll see the results obtained after this amount of reps, language islands, math sentences, blah blah blah. You'll see the results so that you can tell if it was worth it or not. Maybe you decide that you'd rather do 3,000 hours of comprehensible input or something. But yeah, let's talk about numbers. So three main things. I want to be able to speak, and I want to be able to understand. So I know I need lots of vocab. I need to um, obviously the grammar, but the grammar I learn it with the math sentences. But lots of vocab. I need to learn my language islands. So then that's my list of sentences that I use to learn to have conversations. So everything I want to be able to say in usual conversations. This will be really helpful for that final video in which I'll have a conversation. Because if you learn 1,000 lines, you're able to have a conversation. The problem is if you don't understand the other person. Yeah. So my language islands, which I learn in 12 weeks, mass sentences that I'll have to create, and I'll make them available later on natural language learning, the platform, for you to learn Japanese with if you want. And 20,000 of them, I think, around 20,000. So 2,000 verbs, and then all the conjugations with lots and lots of vocab. So all the common vocab and all the common verbs with all their conjugations, everything in a huge list, lots of examples, and I learned that with audio. I will not learn to read because I don't need to for now. I want to be able to understand Japanese and I want to be able to read. So if you want me to try to learn kanji or something, we'll have to wait for a while. Once I understand spoken Japanese well, in December if something terrible doesn't happen before that. Once I understand spoken Japanese well and I'm able to speak pretty well, then yeah, it looks interesting. So maybe I'll try to learn to read. But yeah, it's not particularly useful if you're not well. If you don't want to read manga or something, which I don't care about, or you're not moving there or something, you don't really need to. All I want is to be able to understand spoken language and to speak. So, and it would slow me down immensely if I try to learn. I don't know how many characters there are, but a lot. So, language islands, 1,000 each of them, probably more. Mass sentences, 20,000 ish, with all the grammar and vocabulary included, and 100,000 reps of listening and repeating slash shadowing. For this, I will use Glossicar at some point, I think, but that's going to come later because Glossicar is, I like it, but it's very confusing and very unstructured, and it, it's good when you're already at an intermediate level and you want to learn a bunch of like a few thousand extra sentences to use in conversation. But if you're learning from scratch, uh, it's probably not the best idea. So what I'm going to do is focus on my language islands first and mass sentences. So language islands for my speaking and mass sentences for comprehension. And what I'll do is lots of listening and repeating. Well, first of all, no, let's jump to the weekly goal. So first week, again, language islands, mass sentences, and listening and repeating. So 100 sentences of language islands. Learning 100 sentences in a week doesn't sound crazy, right? Very doable. Those will be useful sentences that I've got in my list so that I'm already able to speak some Japanese with that. I learned that by first memorizing the keywords with mnemonic associations and then loads and loads of listening and repeating. I'll have the translation next to each sentence, and I listen and repeat each sentence as many times as necessary until I can understand them and say them not flawlessly, but pretty well. Mass sentences. It's going to be way more, 2,000 verbs, so 2,000 example sentences. And I know, well, actually, I don't know how grammar works in Japanese, but I want to learn the grammar with this. But what I want to learn is the basic non-conjugated version of all those verbs in a sentence. Maybe some of them will be conjugated. I don't care. It just be able to. These are the verbs. Learn the verbs. That's it. Later on, I'll learn each one of them in all of for each verb. Each one of those 2,000 verbs, I learn 10 or 20 different sentences, or as many conjugations there are forms in Japanese. And for each one of them, I learn an example sentence. But I will start with just an example sentence of each one of the verbs to just get as much data as possible fast and then expand to the whole list. So for this, again, I will first use associations. So a couple hundred words a day, I guess, should be fine. You can do that in less than an hour. With mnemonic associations and memorize them, and then loads and loads of listening and repeating. Around 50% of the listening and repeating will be the language islands, the stuff I want to be able to say. Um, no, actually, let's not do that. Let's not do that because um, you see, no, that'd be, yeah. I just started doing the math, and if I do 5,000 reps of 100 sentences, I'll hate myself because it's each sentence 50 times, which is insane. Now, each sentence 10 to 20 times will be more than enough with the language islands to be able to say them relatively well. Um, and after that, I'll just turn them into flashcards and I'll translate from English into Japanese and get the feedback, and that way I'll learn to say them fine. But yeah, 10 times each, listen and repeat will be enough. And then the rest of the reps, so I don't know, 9,000 reps, each one 4 or 5 times. Yeah, that's good. With the math sentences, 2,000 sentences, each one 5 times more or less. So it'll be more than 10 reps, 10,000 reps in total, but it'll be quite a lot. The way I'll do this, and I'll show you uh, tomorrow or the day after. I'll show you. I'll upload a video showing you how I'm doing it. But what I'll do is repeat each sentence 5 times. So it'll be, my name is Mika, and it'll be, my name is Mika, my name is Mika, my name's, be 5 times, and the next one, nice to meet you, nice to meet you, nice to meet. Instead of doing 100 sentences one after another and just forget everything, I'll do 5 times the first one, 5 times the second one, 5 times the third one. So sounds like torture, but again, if you, this is not for the lazy. If you're willing to go against it, if you want to put in the hard work and learn really seriously, this kind of learning will work, and you will get really good results very fast. As long as you're doing working hard but also working smart. This is super effective, but it's going to be hard work. If you instead want to spend many thousands of hours watching content and hoping that someday you'll be fluent, okay, then go do your thing. But here I'm going to show you what happens when you work hard and you work smart and you go for results and you only do the things that will get you results fast, right? This channel is about results. It's not feel good stuff and telling you some nonsense. No, no, no. This is, here we learn languages like an athlete, like an elite athlete trains for competition, right? So it's going to be memorize the whole, well, all the vocab in the 100 sentences, then listen and repeat the 100 sentences over and over and over. Memorize the vocab in the 2,000 sentences of the math sentences, and then repeat the 2,000 sentences over and over uh, for the whole week. This is going to be my week. Um, it's not going to be my whole week. 1 or 2 hours a day of this will be good already. And by the end of, I mean, not the end of the week, it's already the end of this week, but by the end of next week, um, I think I'll be able to speak a decent amount. Not well, obviously, but I'll be able to speak a little bit, and I know a couple thousand words, which is not bad in a week of work, right? And this is it. If you're interested in learning Japanese, I will give you links to the materials I'm creating for myself that you'll be able to use. After the experiment, I'll just put everything under behind a paywall in natural language learning. But during the experiment, you can come and use them, right? Because yeah, it's, I think it's going to be interesting, and a lot of people are interested in Japanese. Who knows? Maybe I'll just give it all for free, like I did with Spanish. Anyway, Japanese. Long story short, it's going to be 3 months, lots of learning, daily updates or almost daily updates, and by the end of it, you'll have 1 hour video of me speaking Japanese. I will have learned basically all the vocabulary that you need to learn to learn the language, to speak the language, and I'll be able to speak pretty well. That's the plan, right? Stay tuned because there's more coming.